It's your boy. And we're back with another video. We got some nice people to send in their work, and today we're gonna tear it apart and make fools out of them and tell them that they're terrible. I'm just kidding, but people have sent in their work, and what I'm gonna do is give them some pointers, how I think they can improve, and just trying to help out some of my followers and friends. This is gonna be a good one. So to start out, we got Dave Mullins with Dave Mullins Leather Co. So right off the bat, dude's pretty handy. He says his biggest thing that he wants to work on is he wants to get better depth on his swivel knife cuts, and he wants to draw more. So if you want me to be honest, when it comes to drawing your leather patterns, I know a lot of people who spend a lot of time drawing and then they end up not really getting any better because they end up just drawing mediocre work over and over again. I recommend spending more time drawing whatever it is you're drawing. So if a person were to spend 10 hours drawing, most people are gonna draw 10 things. They spend 1 hour drawing each thing. I personally would rather see somebody draw 2 things that they spent 5 hours on. The reason for this is just by the amount of time you spent drawing one specific thing, you're gonna get better at it. What it's gonna do is you spend all this time drawing the one thing, it's gonna elevate your skill level to here. Then what's gonna happen is the speed in which you'd be able to draw a 5-hour drawing is gonna get faster and faster. So maybe the second time you do it, it'll only take you 4 hours. Maybe 2 or 3 tries later, maybe you can get that drawing time down to 3 hours. So basically it's setting your bar higher. Now time becomes your battle, and figuring out how to get faster and refine your skill, it's gonna bring that bar down to where it makes sense. It's a lot harder to get a good end result out of high quantity drawings, if that makes sense. So that would be my first tip on how to draw more. And when it comes to depth, you just either need to have sharper knives or push harder. There's not much you can do there. Also, you can try using thicker leather. I personally use a thicker leather, which allows me to carve deeper. And another hack with getting deeper tooling, swing your hammer harder, man. But we're gonna jump into his work. Dude's pretty handy. So to start off, this belt looks super solid. I mean, you got nice flow, up, down, in between the flowers. If I really had to nitpick this belt, I would work on some of your background space. For example, I would have taken that very top vine and taken it all the way out to the end. It would have filled your space in a little bit nicer. It looks a little bit empty. And then here, you have this double petal here. You could have done maybe, instead of doing a double petal, you could have just done 2 petals instead of having this large background chunk. That might be personal preference for you. I'm more of a fan of filling in as much space as possible and having the least amount of background space. That will also help you with the depth. If you have these little pockets that are backgrounded and they're tooled super deep, it'll give you the illusion that those holes are a lot more deep when more of your leather, if your holes are super deep and your background's super deep and your tooling's up here, so you have a ton of background space, it's kind of really hard to see how much higher or lower one thing is. But when you make smaller background chunks, you go more like this, where you can see a much more drastic change in depth. Even this thing's cool. I like your color play here. I don't even know if this is like Sheridan tan or what this is. It's almost like a mahogany Sheridan tan combo, something like that. It's kind of crazy looking, but with the resist coated elk, looks really nice. If I had to nitpick this, I would try and do more swirls. You have a lot of really long flow that goes up and around and then down, so your petals are super long, but you don't get a lot of that swirly kind of intricacy. It's kind of like a catch-22. You can have really long flowy vines, or you can have kind of intricate switchbacks and whatnot. But I mean, your stuff looks really good, super solid, no complaints. The only thing I'll say is again, right here, you got this big chunk of background. You know, even if you went on top of that turquoise border and looped yourself out back around to touch that flower, it's gonna minimize your background space, which, looking at this piece, I can definitely kind of see where you might want to work on your depth. And it's not even so much that I think it's your depth. I think it's the amount of open background space that you have, which is kind of giving you the illusion your tooling's not as deep as you would like it to be. Tightening up your empty space in your floral will really help. But like this rifle scabbard belt thing is punchy, dude. I really like this. Basket weave looks super clean. It's funny because all your fit and finish looks really nice, and then these stainless rivets kind of kill me. Definitely I would recommend some copper. It's just gonna look a little bit nicer and a little bit more heavy duty because I can see the thickness of everything. this scabbard setup's gonna last forever, but more than likely the first thing that's gonna go is gonna be those stainless rivets there, and then maybe like double stitch down at the bottom. I can't see the bottom to really know or give my full opinion. This is really cool. You're a dude who likes that orange tan combo. I personally am not a huge fan of it, but I do know a lot of people who do this kind of orange tan combo. Nothing wrong with having your own style and your own preferences in your craftsmanship. That's the whole point of having your own style and being a craftsman and an artist, right? This floral tooling down in here looks really good. One thing I'll say about your work is it looks super clean. Like your basket weave is super crispy. It's really crispy. Like there's microscopic things I can point out, like this kind of petal, the vines kind of go thin to thick, but everything's done so smooth that it's hard. It's like you're fully committed to a swivel knife cut that's a little off, which is a good problem to have because you have like the level of craftsmanship where everything is where you want it to be. Now you just need to dial in where you want those things to be. So spending a little bit more time on those drawings like I recommended in the beginning would be, I think, highly beneficial. This looks like older work. If you want me to be completely honest, it does not look like the same guy made the same two things unless there was a drastic amount of time between the two projects. I mean, man, I would have ran that basket weave up into the skull and done your fade a lot smaller because now you just have this kind of like dark void. I think on the fish side, it works a little bit more to your favor, but still not a big fan of this giant void. If you were gonna do a giant void, fade into basket weave or something, I would not stain it like that because you get these like weird hard lines. If you were gonna do something like that, maybe actually do a super hard line where you're doing almost like a border or actually swivel knife cut it and like give yourself something that actually breaks the one part of the tooling from the next. This is the last thing he sent. I swear to God, I'm the only person allowed to do rose toolings. David Mullins, you're my enemy now. Super solid. I like this large floral compared to your other one. There's a lot of intricate, you get those swirls around the flowers, which you're shooting for, traditional Sheridan style tooling, which this blows the other one out of the water in terms of like interesting flow and cool stuff that happens. I mean, nothing I can really say about this that I haven't said about your work before. Boom. I'm going to zoom in on this. See, your depth isn't what needs to get worked on. My hypothesis in the beginning is pretty accurate. You can see that loop right there. The depth on that is nasty. That is fucking killer depth. Where you go wrong is your backgrounding space, where there's just too much of it. There's no contrast between your petals and your background space. If you look at the depth on that loop, it's super aggressive. Now what you need to do is figure out how to replicate that depth throughout the rest of your piece. Even around the outside of the flower looks deep and around the outside of your letters look deep. The main problem you're having is between your vines and the border or the vines and other vines. Maybe even try a different backgrounder. I personally hate bar grounders, those little dot backgrounders. I think they look not super good, and you can't really achieve incredible depth either with them. Super solid. It looks like you've only been doing this since 2021, so you're killing it, man. For a dude who's only been, less than 3 years in the game, let's call it 2 years even, you're slaying it. So Dave, you're killing it, bud. Definitely looking forward to seeing what you come up with in the future. For our next guy, the king of cringe, T-Bar Leathercraft, Trevor Barfus. So T-Bar has become one of my better leather crafting buddies, and he told me to roast him. So all I can say is that T-Bar looks like he will gaslight you about being a vegan cowboy, and that there's no conflicting interest in being a vegan while also being a professional leather crafter. So I'm not here to roast him. I am here to pick his work apart because I love my boy T-Bar. There's a lot of things I actually really admire about the guy. Dude is incredibly positive, has fucking incredible charisma. I wish I had T-Bar's charisma. It's actually something I aspire to have.
Genuine ostrich. 3 payments. Wait, what? I'm just goofing. New boot goofing.
I mean, he's like a fucking cartoon character, right? You literally can't hate T-Bar at all. And he's devilishly handsome. What else can I say? I do think he can work on a couple things, but to be honest, it's one of those deals where, you know, I don't know his business. I don't know what he costs. What I do know is that he's a really likable guy, so I'm sure he has plenty of customers. He's doing something right. Whatever I have to say about the guy, it's going to be taken with a grain of salt for sure. We're buddies, so basically I'm just going to scroll his page. So I'm just going to dive right in. I mean, to start off, he is really good and really clean. I mean, there's really crispy. His lines are really true. His bevels are super true. You know, there's nothing sloppy about his work. And there's nothing wrong with this style either. Some people like to keep it just simple, clean, crispy. And in my opinion, I'm not one of those dudes. I don't want to keep it simple, clean, and crispy. I want to make it filled to the brim, balls to the walls, chaotic, trippy. I want you to see my work and go, holy fuck. It's funny because his charisma is what sets him over the edge. I would like to see more of his personality in his work a little bit more. You know, maybe personally he's a little bit more of a reserved guy. That's why he likes to do a little bit more simple stuff. But I really would like to see him step outside the box in terms of his actual leather crafting, because this is gonna sound really fucking harsh, but I don't know how to say it any other way. I don't see stuff that's super interesting. I think that he does super clean, solid work, but there's nothing that makes me go like, oh shit, that's unique. Oh shit, that's a wow factor. What I do see is like his woolly chaps. Those things literally took over like fucking gangbusters on the internet. This dude literally made a fucking career for himself by making these woolly chaps. Now I just hope he can figure out how to do that with some of his tooling work. Either that or just lean harder into balls to the walls chaps. Like he does a lot of stuff with fringe, like maybe do some triple layer fringe, maybe do some more wild colors. There's a lot of ways you can add in creativity and pushing the boundaries without being crazy gaudy or making something so busy that it's ugly. You know, it's just like when I look at it, it's like nice set of yokes. Nothing like really I could say bad, you know, it's just nothing that makes me go like, oh shit, that's cool. You know, this octopus is super cool. I'd like to see him, you know, do more stuff like this. You know, I don't know if his customer base just likes more simple stuff, or if he turns down certain stuff because he's afraid of, you know, fucking a tooling up. I know I've done that a lot where, you know, somebody asked me to tool a llama and I'm like, fuck, I've never tooled a llama. I don't know how to do this, but I really want to try tooling a llama. So I'm going to go for it and wing it. And if it sucks, I either got to redo it or like maybe the next llama's better, you know? So stuff like that. Like this backpack, it's super cool. I would have liked to see, I like it. I want more. T-Bar makes me yearn for more, you know? But like this is crispy. This is clean. I like how he worked in this arrowhead here. And you know, it could be one of those things. He's a you know, a simple dude from Utah. You don't have to be at balls to the walls. Look at Don Gonzalez. He doesn't do anything super fucking crazy. He just does super solid work. He's a likable guy. He's built a following for himself and he's successful. So even like this piece, I personally not big fan of like Vikings and castles and shit like that, but it's nice to see. Like, when was the last time you saw a fucking Viking warrior with 2 ravens and purple? You know, it's very unique. Even like his little Yoda with the Moab arches, really cool little color fades. I'd like to see more stuff like this. I know he's capable of it. I know he can think out of the box. You'd be an idiot to think this guy can't think out of the box. So all I have to say about T-Bar is obviously keep doing what you're doing. Fucking, here we go.
Hey, look what I'm wearing.
Rex Kwando.
Kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys. Good about it.
Fucking guy. Yeah, man. T-Bar, I want to see more of your wacky ass personality in your leatherwork. Everybody here has been killing it. T-Bar, keep doing your thing. One day I will have half as much charisma as you. And David, keep killing it too, man. You're on your way. Everybody nailing it. If you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps out. Been spending a ton of time on YouTube content. If you want me to review your work, you can hit me up on Instagram. The link is down in the description below. Let me know you saw this video and let me know, hey, can I send you some of my work? I love to give you guys some pointers. With all that stuff being said, I'm gonna sign off for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.